Welcome back. Fallout New Vegas is full of memorable characters, who through our interactions with them learn about what makes them who they are, their pasts, and what they hope for the future. However, there is one character who stands apart from the rest, a character who has a fraction of the dialogue of the other main characters, though through his reputation alone is one of the most impactful. I'm speaking of course about Lanius, the monster of the East, legate of Caesar's Legion and conqueror of 19 tribes. Despite Lanius' awe-inspiring reputation, we have very little credible information on his backstory and who he actually is, so today I thought we'd go through each of the backstories that we've been told about Lanius and try to discern which is the most plausible. Starting off with the most popular and well-known story, this is the one that we are told by Caesar himself upon our first encounter with him. He describes Lanius as being the greatest warrior of a tribe called the Hydebarks, whose brute strength and massive size allowed him to ambush Legion patrols by himself. After a larger Legion force eventually surrounded the Hydebarks camp, their chieftain surrendered to the Legion, which enraged Lanius, who slew over a dozen of his tribe's members before being brought down, though he obviously didn't die. Caesar was impressed with his service and offered him a place as legate. Lanius accepted only if the males of the Hydebarks were allowed to be killed by him. Caesar accepted Lanius' service on the condition that he only killed the adult males. Lanius was then provided with his signature forged steel mask and armor and massive sword, all forged by the finest blacksmiths in the Legion. This armor served two purposes. One, obviously, was to provide Lanius with a massive amount of protection, making him near invulnerable. Along with that, the mask helps hide Lanius' identity and make him less of a general and more of a symbol, as his mask is forged in the image of Mars, the Roman god of war, who is worshipped by the Legion. There are a few issues with this story, however, namely in the contradictions provided by other members of the Legion. Firstly, Antony, the Legion's handmaster, located at the fort, claims that after conquering Lanius' tribe, Caesar showed mercy to the surviving tribesmen, allowing them to join the Legion. This opposes Caesar's account, who, if you remember, claimed that Lanius killed every adult male member of the tribe, a far cry from the mercy Antony talks about. Moreover, when talking to the Legion arena master Otho, he describes seeing the legate kill 10 men in the arena as a recruit, implying that Lanius was either born into the Legion or was taken as a small child, opposing Caesar's story wherein Lanius appears to be a fully grown man by the time he's inducted into the Legion. Compounding this issue, we have the story told by the leader of the Praetorian Guards, Lucius, who claims that Lanius became a full legionary at 10 years old, implying again that he was a child in the Legion's army prior to the events of New Vegas. So the question we need to ask ourselves is, what is the truth of Lanius' identity, considering we're given conflicting reports by pretty much everyone in the Legion? While there is a semi-popular fan theory that Lanius himself is nothing more than an actor, someone that Caesar dressed up to look intimidating and act as a boogeyman, however, I don't think that this theory is entirely true. Considering for one, Lanius is fucking enormous, being approximately 7 feet tall and strong enough to wear both a suit of steel armor so thick it's bulletproof, and carry a sword the size of a person. So I don't think it's a matter of Caesar just picking someone to act as a symbol, considering Lanius is both a formidable fighter, one of the strongest NPCs in the game, and a capable commander and tactician, as we learn from Ulysses of the Lonesome Road. So while he certainly does possess these talents, he's certainly not a fraud. The question then arrives to which one of his backstories is true, if any. To answer this question, let's deconstruct some of the stories were told by each of the Legion members and compare them to the official story told by Caesar. Firstly, Antony and Caesar both state that Lanius was part of a tribe that was conquered and assimilated into the Legion. Since neither of the two stories about Lanius from Lucius or Otho conflict with this, we can say with some certainty that Lanius was formerly a member of a tribe when the Legion took him in. Whether the Hydebarks was their true name or not is unknown. Now, both Lucius and Otho relate to Lanius having been inducted into the Legion as a child, with Lucius specifically stating he was made a full legionary at 10 years old, and Otho saying that he killed several people as a recruit. From this we can extrapolate that Lanius was inducted as a recruit likely between the ages of 7 and 9, and whose brute strength and massive size let him rise quickly through the Legion's ranks, rather than the full-grown adult in Caesar's story, made all the more real by the fact that Otho states he watched Lanius kill those people as a child. Now there's one last thing before we compile Lanius' likely backstory, that's the matter with his face. Caesar tells us that Lanius was disfigured in his fight against his tribesmen, causing him to have the mask forged to cover his face. Ulysses states that Lanius is never seen without his mask. However, if we are able to kill Lanius, we would find that his face is unscarred. However, Joshua Sawyer revealed that Lanius' lack of scarring is more due to an engine limitation rather than any in-lore explanation, so we can safely assume that in-universe Lanius' face is actually scarred. So with that said, we can finally piece together what I consider to be the most accurate backstory for Legate Lanius. The child who would one day be Lanius was born to an obscure tribe in the southwest United States, 2 centuries after the Great War. After his tribe was integrated into Caesar's legion, Lanius would be inducted into the legion's military, with his brute strength and massive size allowing him to quickly rise through its ranks. After years in Caesar's service, Lanius would have his face mauled during one of the legion's innumerable campaigns to pacify its territories, wherein Caesar would offer Lanius the choice to become the new top legate, replacing the failure Joshua Graham. After accepting, Caesar would have Lanius' signature armor forged and gone to tell the courier a falsified story, hoping that the legend that he had credited for Lanius as a brutally loyal monster of the East would spread and strike terror into the hearts of New Vegas and the NCR. And with that, we've covered pretty much everything we know about the Legate. Now, it goes without saying that everything we've discussed prior is just my opinion on the matter, and unless Bethesda or one of the New Vegas devs chimes in to clarify what Lanius' true backstory was, I don't think we'll ever truly know, but hopefully I've done a good enough job of explaining how I came to my conclusion. And since there's nothing else, have a great rest of your day.